Christy here from TheJollyFatElf. Welcome to another video. So I am on the Easter train. I know not a lot of people send Easter cards. It's not like a very card-centric holiday, but I love creating spring and Easter themed cards. I think they can be used for birthdays, they can be used for baby showers. Just because there's eggs and bunnies or chicks doesn't mean that it has to be just Easter. So today we are making a card with the cutest little bunny. I know I said that about the last one, but isn't she adorable? I love her. So let's head over to my craft table and I'll show you how I put this card together. Hi friends, before we get started on today's card, I just want to remind you that I'm currently having a small sale over on my Etsy shop for all of my in-stock cards. You will find the link to that down in the description box below. So for today's card, I have printed this image from Etsy and I will make sure to link the shop in the description box down below. I believe this artist has some designs that are sold by Trinity Stamps, I believe. Again, I will have everything linked down below. So I went ahead and used my Silhouette Cameo and the Silhouette software to cut her out in an oval shape. And that way I didn't have to worry about doing any die cutting. And there were the Copic colors, so make sure you pause it and you can write them down. So for her fur today, I am using some light tan colors and I'm doing a flicking motion. For those of you who've been with me since my holiday card series from last year, if you remember the sloth card where I just did all the flicking to make it look like he had fur, I've basically done something very similar here with her head. It was basically impossible to do it on her torso, so I didn't, but I'm doing it on her ears, on her face, and even on the inside of her ears. So this was actually a pretty easy image to color. That shop has the most adorable images. They're so cute. You guys will be seeing them in the months to come. I bought a lot of baby stamps from them. She has really cute, well, you'll see. You'll see. You're going to go look and you're going to come back and tell me which stamp is your favorite. That's your question of the day. Which stamp in their shop is your favorite? You can also let me know if you've ever used digital images. And let me know if that's something that you would like to see more of in the future, especially like how I kind of get them to where I need them to be sized, printed, etc. I do have a few videos on that, but I don't mind including that in these videos if it's something that you're interested in. So this image, like I said, she's so adorable. And what I love about this one is that she could really be an Easter card. She could be, you know, a welcome baby card, a baby's first birthday, all sorts of things. And you'll see later when I choose the pattern papers, well, you saw a couple of them at the beginning, but you'll also see them a little bit better later, that I didn't pick patterns that just said, this is an Easter card. You're going to see some videos over the next couple of days where it's like, okay, this is definitely, this is definitely an Easter card. I used paper that said happy Easter, but for this one is one that could be multitasking. So you guys know I really love to do that. So if you are someone who purchases this card and you would like me to add a sentiment, the same thing goes with any of my cards that do not currently have a sentiment. If you would like me to add a sentiment, just let me know in the note, like send me a conversation letting me know. And I can give you an idea of what fonts I have. I can also print something off and add it. You're welcome to do that too. If you just go on, like use your word processing, do people call it word processing anymore? Like Word or Pages or something, you can always type out a sentiment, print it, and then, you know, trim it out with a trimmer or whatever. But if you'd like a stamped one, I can do that. So she was so fun to color. You guys know I really love to color, so I just sat down and turned on some YouTube and got her colored. So for the grass, I am using some greens, and you're going to see in a minute, I have a little accident with one of these markers. So one thing to know about Copics, if you are getting some and you're new to them, if you color with the marker on the side, as you see me doing here, it makes more ink flow. So you're going to see in just a second, I'm going to have an accident because, see, it wouldn't be a Misty card if I didn't have an accident. Since I had colored with that on its side, a lot of ink had come out. So I put the lid back on it and I set it to the side and let the ink kind of go back into the barrel, and that helped a lot. And so I gave it a second to kind of set, and then I went in with the colorless blender, which isn't necessarily a blender. What it does is it pushes the ink further into the paper. It's not lifting the ink, it's actually pushing it into the paper. So it may or may not go completely away depending on the colors that you're using, but I was already planning on going over that part of the image to create the sky, so I wasn't concerned. It got light enough that I felt like my markers would color it. I'm using those same exact greens on the stem, vine, I'm not really sure what this would be considered. Initially, my thought was I was going to color each of the flowers a different color, but then I realized that if this was one vine or stem, all of the flowers would be the exact same color. So it's not that I'm not going for a realistic here, right? Like we'll never see a bunny in bloomers. Like you're not going to see this in real life, but I wanted to keep it a little bit cohesive, and I brought in the other colors in different ways, and you'll see that in a little bit. So for the flowers, I started with the darkest color closest to the center, and then I worked my way out to my lightest colors. One thing I've considered doing, and I probably will end up doing it because I need to do it for me anyway, is I'm going to sit down and I am going to write out my favorite color combinations. Like this is one of my favorite pink combinations, and I think it's 6, 4, and 2. Or maybe 6, 4, and 10. Anyway, I'm going to sit down and do my favorite color combinations, and I will have a video with those linked for you guys. And I may even create a chart. We'll see how ambitious I get. But I may create a chart that you guys can color at home. And you may be able to find that already on Google search or something else. And this is when I realized, oh, I probably needed to do all of them in the exact same color. So that's why I went ahead and brought my peaks back in. So you'll see this pink has a washi tape on it, and that's because 6 and 4, their caps look very, very close together. But there's a pretty significant, well, maybe not significant, but there's a pretty good difference between the colors. So I was messing up. I don't remember which image I was coloring, but I was like, finally, I just put the washi tape on it. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to nip this in the bud right now. So I really love these flowers. That's one thing I haven't done in a while. So in the next coming weeks, you'll probably see me do at least a couple of spring floral. I am in the spring state of mind, like I mentioned in my intro. I'm so ready for spring. We're actually expecting storms today. I'm doing this voiceover on the 16th. I actually filmed this, I don't know, last week sometime. But we're expecting storms today. So we'll see what happens. It's springtime in Texas. Anything can happen. Luckily, we have a tornado shelter in our garage. I don't know if you guys remember, back in 2015, we had a really big tornado that hit just a couple of blocks away. Leveled a couple of neighborhoods that weren't too far, and I was like, okay, we're getting a storm shelter. We're getting one. So we did. We unfortunately we weren't able, like I really wanted to put like an in-ground cellar in, but we just didn't have the space. They couldn't put them in they couldn't put it in our garage pad, like you see a lot of that in Oklahoma sometimes. And we don't have enough yard. I mean, our backyard is basically our pool. To put in an in-ground cellar. So we were at a home and garden show in Dallas, and we saw this manufacturer that we purchased from, and then come to find out you could buy them from Home Depot. So that's what we did. And we've had it now for a few years, and we've used it a couple of times. It's come in handy for sure. I grew up in Oklahoma, so in Oklahoma, a lot of public spaces are shelters, or at least they used to be. I mean, I haven't lived in Oklahoma in 12 years, but when I got down here, I was like, okay, where can we go? It's like, can we go to the hospital? And I called, and they were like, she's like, we don't do that here. I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, oh my word. And Rob was like, well, we don't hardly ever get tornadoes. And then like, we've had one every year since I lived here. That was the first time it had been that close, but yeah. So anyway, I have a love-hate relationship with spring, although that tornado was the day after Christmas. So depending on the weather, we could really get, you know, storms any time of the year, but, you know, it's especially bad in the spring. The Panhandle, West Texas and the Panhandle just went through that. And we were really lucky because when that storm front came through here, we barely even got any rain out of it. So we definitely didn't get any storms. Okay, she's done, and now I'm going to bring in my shimmer pen. I finally cut off the part that I had ruined, and that way I wasn't getting it where I didn't want it. So I'm bringing in a marker, or excuse me, a pen, like I've told you guys before. If you mess up or kind of get out of the lines, you can use a black pen to kind of fix it. So these are the patterns that I've chosen, and I've cut them down. And I believe the two at the top are 1 3/4 by 4. And then the other one, whatever, you want to get to 5 1/4. So you'll have to do the math. I honestly don't. I honestly don't remember. So I'm going to add some of the Scotch mounting foam to her, and then we're going to get her on the card. So that's it for today, guys. Don't forget, your question of the day is to go to the shop that's listed in the description box and come back and tell me what your favorite stamp is. Let me know if you pick one up. I'm telling you, their stamps are so stinking cute. I'm going to bring in some glitter dots from Stampin' Up, and I'm going to call it a day. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Like I mentioned, you are going to get, I think I'm going to be back to 3 videos a week. I bumped down on one of my other channels, and because I love making cards, and I realized that I had so many stamps that I wasn't going to get an opportunity to use because of just spreading myself too thin. So I'm going to try for the next couple of weeks at least to give you 3 a week. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. I love you so much. Make sure you subscribe, like, leave the comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.